Hey community, so today I hope it's gonna be, well, not too much of minutes, meaning too long, meaning a short kind of video, but as you see I already struggle again with defining what I mean, because definitions are kind of difficult to define. Funny. So it's gonna be about polytheism. It's a belief in pantheistic gods, that I would call it. It's about non-belief and non-religion, and also the topic of non-existence of gods. And in the end, I also would recommend, if you like the stuff I put on Fluster, the videos as well as the music. I have two more channels, which are Stiftus as well as Philosophicus. There I present, among others, philosophical ideas, and on Stiftus I also present stories, meaning I write stories which are partially on the album, sometimes not. I also recommend that you look at the books I publish. There are some Dropbox links in Fluster. I will list them later in a later video, so you can download the books that I put up for free, because they have extra value, but some are in German, some are in English. I'm actually too lazy to translate them. Sorry, it's 128 pages I would need to translate in a structure that I wrote especially for German language. I'm really not in the mood for that, for not getting money for that, like ever. Anyway, now we come to the video. So first, what is theism? Well, religion has not a connection to theism. Like, that's why there's an XE. Theism is the belief in a spirit that has sparked their existence in conjunction with another spirit or spirits, meaning either itself, as itself, or with other spirits even. Therefore, religion, to worship a being, to be in the light of a being or in the image of a being or anything of it, has nothing to do with theism at all. It's two different topics, like total different topics. So, thus, Deus is a god of realm, meaning a god that it just exists in his own realm and is just simply, by definition, something that is a god. It doesn't need to create for that, it simply needs to have the ability to control its own existence and create something around that existence, even if it's just an illusion where it can live on and other people cannot really interact unless they force their attack or will onto that. So, what I mean by that is that being can either create something that is not in the existence in the realm of others, or it can simply create a realm which is knowable by others, or anything of the sort, meaning it can create its own ideas and realm, and not just as philosophical ideas or anything of the sort. That's Deus. So deistic is something different. It's gods of ruling from a realm to something of non-concern. Meaning it doesn't concern the deity because it's a god of realm. It's not their it's not their duty, but they then rule in a sense, or even do ruling from a realm of something of non-concern, meaning it's not to their existence of any matter, actually. So, polytheism, IYB. Believe in a multitude of deities that govern existence. Doesn't mean rule, doesn't mean they enforce any will or anything. They just govern their existence and maybe the existence of others because of higher moral values, or because they want to enforce will, or anything actually. That's polytheism, as in if you believe in it. So, my and thrive a pantheon, meaning thrive, meaning forcing the will of religion onto a deity. So maybe that polytheism is there to make an image of the deity, to form it to your human attributes that you then want to impose on the deity for your own selfish desires. It could purchase, force of stealing knowledge, not styling, sorry for the mistake, a myth, meaning kind of invent something that the deity wants to act on, to use the emotion of that deity, so you can know more about the deity or about what the deity does and how it does it. It's consider, maybe, meaning developed from an as idea and set, a further self-worth of reckoning of one's divine nature. So if you are a polytheist, you may have more inclination and you're more likely to realize what I have always been thinking, and I think still to this day, that every being that is living and self-conscious and actually has any real sense, that is not dead like a plant. It is reckoning one's divine nature through polytheism, because it's more likely to do that. Why? Because there are more deities than just one, as an example for the truth that there is divine nature in everyone. That's why polytheism is more likely to spark that. So, believe in gods as, or God. Instead of philosophical values, ideas, and silence towards the worship as in selfish reasons for benefit of one's own spirit. Like you can worship and pray to a deity as in yourself and projecting your energy towards it and having a certain feeling, but then you're not really worshipping the deity. Worship is something different. It may even come with sacrifice, but it doesn't need to involve sacrifice, or sacrifice doesn't need to cause worship, and so forth. Meaning, it's most likely, in my mind, for selfish reasons, for the benefit of one's own spirit. Meaning, why I say that? Why? A god doesn't need belief in that which is the god, or the goddess, or the couple. They literally are not needing of that. They are gods. They can live without worship and the belief in them. It's not matter. Point being, what is of matter is that if you then start to believe and worship them, you do it for yourself. You don't do it because the god needs that. It's then just an arrogant being. But you do it because that god or goddess or couple of gods or gods, in a sense, should give you something, and that is selfish. So, rather in the justice brought forth by life, force of life, therefore every religious act towards any deity is in my mind a selfish action. So if you actually respect a god and believe in the god, that would be still wrong. You can acknowledge their existence, but then you would be forced to interact with a dilemma. So I just rather believe in the justice brought forth by life and the gods that act towards it, so are good and not evil. And if they are not evil towards good, or evil that doesn't allow them to do the evil to the degree that doesn't end their life, in a sense that the evil is not that much harm that it wants to end its life, and so forth. I already explained that in previous videos why I think this way. So believe in pantheistic gods, not the D is missing, pantheistic gods, QYO, meaning no pantheon of them existing but still in living spirit. So these beings, they then exist, but they are not described in as any pantheon. So why I'm such a religious person? Well, for one, universe could not be created from itself, by itself. And someone is calling me, I don't have time for that right now. Universe could be created from itself, by itself, or result of two beings cancelling their creative power out. Reason full control over material actions. So, if you view the universe, you have a certain construct where either the universe that came from it is in such a way that it was made, in a sense, by itself. So you have material actions and nothing else. Like, it's unlikely that something that is material has a spirit plane to it, even though it could be. Like, it's unlikely, but it could be. Or you have two beings canceling their creative power out, so that a spirit that interacts with it, even though the universe is not really anything of their force or anything of their power, has full control over their actions, meaning they can enforce their free will over their material body. This is like a little bit difficult to explain because it has nothing to do with metaphysics. It has something to do with the idea that your free will is influenced by what you are connected with. So if you have the environment around you that kind of forces you to do certain things, then you have less free will. And therefore, your material actions become less of something you can control. But if two deistic powers cancel their power out, you have something like a pathway that you can walk along and endorse your free will on your own existence. If you have a universe that is created by itself, from itself, or for itself, or formed itself, you have suddenly a concept where either we have a plane of existence, like the Earth as a plane of existence, the video from before. So you have something that's projecting a reality that you can then interact with, or you have a universe that is completely material in the sense that something lays behind it, or you have a universe that is completely spiritual and the material is then, for reasons that are explained in the unseen video, not really real in the sense that it cannot be matter. Reason being, if you have a certain amount of connections in a structure that force something to become to an existence, it is necessary that these connections force something onto each other. For that being, if there's nothing controlling that, something will be lost. So either the spiritual plane, the material plane, the unseen plane, or anything of it. So it cannot usually have all these aspects. It is possible with one idea where any of that is a projection afterwards. That's why I made the plane of existence video. If anything of the spiritual, the material, or anything of it is a projection and it's translucent in a sense, doesn't need to be translucent, but let's keep the word for now, then it has maybe all four aspects, but is not created or was ever something that would have been in existence by itself or have any conscious at all. So 2, agree. No need philosophically arguing as a nonsense, cause I know but for a god or goddess, cause if something came from nothing, it's likely to occur again. So if you argue that this universe is real and that you are real, you already keep the argument that something else could be real that is different from this universe, or like the universe, or something in existence more than this universe. And if you have the concept of a god, you might agree that a god can even be in existence because this universe started to exist. And it's unlikely that the same happens again, but it's likely that then a similar idea, a similar spark happens again. Doesn't mean it's connected with each other, because this universe, if it was the first thing, came from nothing. And if that once happened, why not happen again? You can argue now the universe takes the space for anything else, but if nothing is really nothing, then there's also no space around it that can be taken away by the universe in existence, or any god before, or so forth, or in the future, past, present. It is really not matter, because I agree, there's no need for a god to exist, or a goddess, or a couple. But it's likely. So, I am a polytheist in a sense, believe in gods to exist. I honor to only to a degree, I really honor to only believe they caused my existence. I mean, every theist believes that they are caused by God, and I reason that for supernatural explanations. I don't need to explain that. I don't need to explain my religion to you. It's not of matter because it's my religion, and I don't ever impose it on you. I don't tell you need to believe that I came from two gods. I just believe that. It's none of your matter. You can say what you want to. I don't care. You don't concern me then. I don't listen to you, and I will never listen to you. It's like an atheist there that doesn't want to listen to someone impose religion on him. It's really not necessary. And I don't need to prove it to you. You are in the need of proving to me that I didn't come from two gods, and I'm actually just a material being. Which you can prove because once I dream, and if I sleep and have dreams that I remember fully, and can never not remember any of the things as long as I want to remember any of the things I dreamed, then you really cannot prove that I don't have a spirit that acts outside of this matter, because you cannot really prove that my body is even the first thing that caused it. You can argue that it might be a brain, but you cannot prove that everything I am is caused by the brain. Prove it. Go ahead. Good try. And even if you prove that it would be possible, it doesn't mean it's possible and the necessity for me. And I won't let you make me into an experiment so you have your proof that I came from two gods that you want to convince me of. So in any case, this is not of matter. I just don't care. So, interventions. What could be said against all these arguments? EYOX. Universe as an eternal construct. It's a dogma, not a brute fact. Like, if you believe that the universe was always in existence, that's a dogma. You cannot prove that. Like, if you can prove that an eternal existence exists, you're already something in an eternal existence watching it, and therefore you would be able to prove it. Otherwise, like, you could prove it and say This is why it's that way, and prove that like scientifically 100% of the time. But otherwise, if you just say it could be like this, it's a dogma. So, universe of multiverses. It's circular reasoning. It can't cause itself. Like you say, a universe was there, it caused a multiverse, and the universe caused a multiverse, and the multiverse caused the universe, and there you have circular reasoning. You say, another universe caused this one, that caused that one, and that was the cause of the first universe causing all the other universes, so you have circular reasoning. It's not a good argument. God of the gaps. Well, that's a straw man. Like, of course, you can't say it's a god of the gaps, the polytheism. It really doesn't matter, because it's not the question asked. It's not the question asked if that's true or not. The question is not why can't there be more than one spark, but it's why the universe started to exist. You're making a straw man out of that. Therefore, it's manipulation. And disbelief means disbelief in Occam's razor and straw man, by the way. Reasons previous slide. It's not a matter. I don't need to explain that. Do I? It's because of point 2. Anyway, cyclic universe is the Münchhausen trilemma. If you argue that the universe just starts to exist and then exists and so forth, you cannot prove that, because once you're gone in the cyclic universe, you won't remember the next, otherwise you would continue to exist and then the universe would continue to exist. So you're either lying or you're building yourself on a trilemma that forces you to use all the three aspects as well as, what is the Münchhausen trilemma again? Well, first, you're lying, and like Münchhausen, and second, you're using an argument as the argument, which is not circular reasoning. It is circular reasoning, but not as the same as circular reasoning. And I think everyone knows what the Münchhausen trilemma is. Even I know it right now. I just don't want to tell you, because everyone knows what the Münchhausen trilemma is. Otherwise, look it up if you don't know it. Not bad. It's just a philosophical idea. Not bad. No insult, please, taken here. I'm not trying to insult you. Because I right now also don't want to explain it or don't know it. Prove me wrong. And I believe me to be divine, or even God in spirit at least. Well, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that in my spirit, everything I see as my imagination is not the force of my imagination, therefore me being divine. If I look now in my spirit, I see a plant that I never saw on earth. Actually, it tastes quite good. So, prove me that I didn't do that. That my spirit just conjured it up, illusioned it. And then we're at the points of before. I don't need to prove that to you. I'm not going to make me into an experiment of you, watch my brain or so forth, just to argue with me about the fact that I don't want to argue with you. So, believe me that I think I'm divine, or even a God in spirit at least, or don't. Well, prove me wrong or don't. I don't care. So, this is to polytheism. Now, sin. Sin is a really big concept in all the religions. And I personally think sin is very real. It is forgivable to a degree, but to some degree it becomes absurd. Because people might say, oh, it's just one lifetime. Well, if theism or any religious concept is true, and you're just not able to grasp that you're not just a body, meaning you are a soul, and everything you do in this existence, no matter how small, no short, no long, it doesn't matter, you do or is done to you, is forever in your soul, as long as you don't undo it. And even then you experienced it, so you have the experience in your soul that you need to cope with. And there we have vengeance, even if someone undoes something. So, point being, everything you experience will be in your spirit, in your soul, everything of that. So, you really don't have the concept of non-eternal sin. Sin is always eternal. Someone does evil to you, it's an eternal consequence, an eternal sin. It doesn't matter what you believe to be true, it's true as long as your soul is existent for the time you live. For that eternity or eternal consequence of your being, no matter how small or big the existence or non-existence the existence, you have that experience or the pain or the sin in that being. And now you could argue, well, it should be forgiven. Well, it's not your argument. Why, it wasn't your argument first, that would be a straw man again. Let's just think it through though. Well, you imposed the evil, so you're in the wrong, not the person, and it doesn't need to forgive you, as in ever. If you steal something from someone and someone punches you in the face for that, you started that. If someone walks around and you are angry for the person to be walking around, you are the one who started the fight. You are in the wrong, not the person. Sorry for this loud speaking. I always get very angry at myself for this topic to even talk about that. Sorry, myself. Yeah. Good. So, have a nice day.